Yo, what is going on, guys? And welcome back to 365 Analytics. And today it is Thursday, and this is actually getting recorded on the day of the video going up. This is the only second time this season I think I've done that. I think I did week one. I recorded on Thursday, and here we are, week 11. I'm recording on Thursday. I was going to record last night, and then kind of got jammed up, and then this and that happened. But I'm getting the video out. We're doing our normal length video. We are getting it done today on Thursday afternoon. This might come out a little later in the 1 p.m. usually. I usually put them out at 1 p.m. on Thursdays. Might come out rather like closer towards 2 or 3. But nonetheless, we're here either way. I'm not going to try to yap anymore. If you guys do enjoy today's video, please like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more content exactly like this one. We do the 365 recap weekly here. We do weekly game picks across the NFL weekly on the channel, obviously. And we are already week 11 right now, so pretty crazy to say how fast we're flying through the NFL season. But we have some business to take care of first. Last week, absolutely abysmal, horrible. It's been a bad season. That's just the bottom line. It's been a bad season. 6-8 last week. I went 5-9 the week prior. I've had a few 9-7 weeks. I've had a few really, really bad weeks this year. Safe to say, I don't know what in the world is happening this football season, but we went 6-8 last week. That was horrible. Overall, that brings our record to 85, 63, and 1. And finally, it happened. We lost our first lock of the week pick, and now we are 9-1. I was hoping to get to that double digit 10-0, but Buffalo Bills sold me last week on my lock of the week. But we are 9-1 in that category and 2-8 on my upset of the week. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into this. Tonight, we have an AFC East matchup on Thursday Night Football between the New York Jets and the New England Patriots. The Jets, they're coming in this game after winning 2 in a row. The Jets have not lost in 3 weeks. Can you believe that? Feels insane to say. Beat the Bengals, had the bye week, beat the Browns last week. Last week versus the Browns, Justin Fields wasn't necessarily good at all. Brees Hall made some plays. The Jets special teams made some plays. Kene and Nwangwu, I think you say Nwangwu. I don't even know how to say his name exactly, but he had a kick return touchdown. Isaiah Williams had a punt return touchdown, and the Jets evidently got the win at MetLife over the Cleveland Browns. As for the Patriots, they are firing on all cylinders right now, coming off of a win versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this past Sunday at 1 o'clock. And it was really a statement win for the New England Patriots. I didn't think they were going to win that game, and this was the game to me that's like, this team is for real. This team is a force to be reckoned with. You cannot take them lightly at all. This game is in Foxborough, obviously. The Patriots are wearing the rivalry uniforms for this one. This is a team they're clearly better than in division. I expect New England to roll here. I expect them to get it done, and this is not a game I can see New England losing. And I think they're going to advance and get their eighth win in a row to go to 9-2 on the season and beat the New York Jets at home. Next up, we have our last game of the 2025 NFL International Series. I know it's already crazy. We're in week 11, but it's between 2 and 3 and 7 teams here in Madrid between the Washington Commanders and the Miami Dolphins. The Commanders, obviously, the story right now is Jaden Daniels is not playing. They've been banged up. Terry McLaurin's been banged up all year. Deebo Samuel's had a little bit of a disappointing year. The defense overall has had a little bit of a disappointing year. Dan Quinn has took play calling duties away from their defensive coordinator. Was it Joe Witt? Joe Witt, I think his name is. But Dan Quinn's calling defensive plays for Commanders now, as he did in Dallas and Seattle. But yeah, pretty much Washington just looking ahead to next season at this point. Marcus Mariota is probably going to start the remainder of the season, so doesn't look good for them right now. As for the Dolphins, they have some mojo going into this game, beating a division rival Buffalo Bills in South Beach. I think it was 30-13 was the final score. Played a very good defensive game against Josh Allen. Minka Fitzpatrick had some turnovers. Tua played well. Devon Achane had 2 touchdowns. And overall, Miami looked great in that game. If Miami can look like that all season, they can be a force to be reckoned with. But clearly, they just haven't. Mike McDaniel, he has not lost the locker room yet. I expect Miami to win this game. I think they're the better team here. I think they have more playmakers. And I think Tua, Waddle, and Achane are really going to do some damage to the Washington Commanders defense. And they're going to get the win overseas in Madrid. Next up, we have matchup number 2 between these two division rivals in the NFC South. It's a big game. It is a big game for at least Carolina's sake. Atlanta, you can say their season's over, but it is the Carolina Panthers taking on the Atlanta Falcons in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The Panthers, I have no idea what to think about. I have no idea what to think about them. They've been very off and on this season. They've had big wins, Hence, their first game versus Atlanta in Bank of America Stadium, they beat Atlanta 30-0. Shut them down. Absolutely shut them down. It was really Carolina's statement win. It was their coming out party, and I believe it was their first win of the year. I believe it was in week 3 they played. The last time these two played, Carolina won 30-0. Right now, Carolina's sitting at 5-5. Tampa Bay is sitting at 6-3, I believe. So there's really, really, really not that much gap between the two teams. If you really think about it, especially with Tampa Bay going to Buffalo, which we'll talk about in a second. As for the Falcons, they have lost a few in a row now. Their last win was the game against the Buffalo Bills. Michael Penix isn't really playing that well, to be honest with you. Drake London is playing very well. He's caught some touchdowns the past few weeks, at 3 against the Patriots and 1 last week overseas. They played a very competitive game with the Indianapolis Colts last week, but in the end, it was not enough to get past the Colts. In this game, I think Atlanta's going to win it. I have really not, I have not decided what I think about the Carolina Panthers right now, because I don't know. Bryce Young's been very off and on. He's had some good games, had some bad games. Xavier Legette has had some good games, has had some bad games. I mean, Rico Dowdle is about the probably the best player on the offense right now. Since they switched over from the kind of 1-2 tandem between Hubbard and Dowdle to strictly Dowdle, it's worked for Carolina. Dowdle's been very good. The defense has been very off and on. I don't really know what to think about them. Coming off a loss versus New Orleans Saints, I'm going to take the home team here. I'm going to take Bijan Robinson, have a great game on the ground. And I'm going to take Atlanta to go to 4-6 on the season, and maybe, just maybe, keep a slither of hope alive for their season. Next up, it's a very good game between two teams in opposite conferences. It is two teams coming off of a loss, actually. 2-6-3 teams, two teams that think they have a chance at the Lombardi Trophy. It is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Orchard Park to take on the Buffalo Bills. The Buccaneers, they're coming off a loss to New England Patriots. We talked about a few minutes ago. Baker Mayfield wasn't necessarily bad, but I also wouldn't say the Patriots defense wasn't necessarily bad either. The Patriots defense did a good job. I think they held Emeka Egbuka in check somewhat. Emeka Egbuka still had a decent game nonetheless. But Tampa Bay has just had, since Bucky Irving's been hurt earlier in the year, at the end of September, Tampa Bay has really just not been able to get that run game going. Rachaad White and Sean Tucker are not cutting it for the Buccaneers, and it's just making their offense very one-dimensional in the pass game right now. Cade Otton's had some good games. Puka's had some good games. Godwin really needs to get going. Obviously, Mike Evans is pretty much done for the year, if not almost pretty much the remainder of the season. So they're reeling a little bit right now. As for the Bills, you could say the same about them last week. Josh Allen was shut down. Khalil Shakir was shut down. I mean, James Cook was shut down. The Dolphins' run defense did a very good job last week. And they went into Miami and looked lost, to be quite frank. But this is the same Buffalo Bills team that beat the Kansas City Chiefs 2 weeks ago. You have to take that into account. I know it's tough to pick the Bills right now. Even Bills fans are kind of jumping off shit. Bills fans are like, fire Joe Brady, fire Joe Brady. I don't want McDermott here anymore, this, that. But the bottom line is the Buffalo Bills are still a force to be reckoned with in the AFC. This is a win I feel like they need. You see New England win on Thursday Night Football. It's a big game for both of these teams in the hands of their divisions. You see New England go to 9-2 on Thursday Night Football. If you're the Buffalo Bills, you lose this game, your divisional hopes might be over. The New England Patriots might run away with this division if Buffalo can't pick up a win here. And I think they have to. I'm taking another home team, and I think Buffalo bounces back here and gets a win. Next up, it feels like no one's talking about this matchup, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a pretty big game. Not many people are talking about it though. It is an AFC matchup between two teams that are looking to make the AFC playoffs right now. Between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll talk about the Chargers first, obviously. They're sitting at 7-3 right now. Justin Herbert is doing enough to win. They look good. The defense looked good against Pittsburgh last week, had Aaron Rodgers in absolute hell. Aaron Rodgers looked lost. And their defense did a really good job last week to hold the Steelers to really nothing offensively. Jalen Warren kind of shut down until the very end. He started getting some good runs, but the Chargers defense did a very good job last week. Their defense is flying around. Denzel Perriman, guys like that, Deion Henley, those type of guys, they're flying around. They're playing very, very good defense right now. So they're 7-3 right now in the AFC playoffs. Without Joe Alt, though, I think Joe Alt will be a big injury in the grand scheme of things. I don't want to say it ends their season. Last week, I might have said it ends their season, and then they came up the very next Sunday night and looked very good against Pittsburgh. So I clearly don't know anything. As for the Jags, they started 4-1. They're sitting at 5-4 right now, losing three of the last four. And their last loss this past weekend, this past Sunday, was a blown lead versus the Houston Texans, where Davis Mills rushing touchdown towards the end. The Texas defense played a stellar game in the second half. I believe Jacksonville was up 20-3 at one point. So if you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars season right now, this is a must win. I was raving about Liam Cohen when they started 4-1, beat Kansas City on Monday Night Football. Where is that Jags team right now? Trevor Lawrence has to play better, or could it be make or break? We'll see what Liam Cohen ends up doing, but this is clearly a bigger game for the Jacksonville Jaguars than it is the Los Angeles Chargers. I don't think it's really up for dispute, but this is probably the dumbest pick I've made all year, but I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think it's an absolute must win for them. I think there is more of a fire lit up under them than there is that's the wrong color, I think. Than there is the Los Angeles Chargers right now. I think the Jags defensive front will be able to get some pressure in this game, and I think it needs to work. At home, you're 5-4. You have Kansas City in the playoff picture right now. They're trying to get in. You have Houston that's 4-5 who just beat you. The AFC playoffs are packed right now. That's the bottom line. You have Baltimore looking out from the in right now. You have Pittsburgh still 5-4. It's a packed AFC playoff picture. Jacksonville's got to win this game. They want to keep their season alive, and I think you're going to do it. So to recap the first five games, it's been all five home teams. Technically, one's overseas, so it's a neutral site game, but on the books, it's five home teams. So I don't know. This could end up very badly, but next up, we have another divisional matchup, which is matchup number 2 in the series on the season. It is an NFC North matchup between the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. If you remember right, all the way back on September 8th, these two teams played on opening Monday night. It was Caleb Williams, it was JJ McCarthy, the game in Soldier Field. Chicago had a lead earlier in that game. Minnesota stormed back. JJ McCarthy made some plays, and Minnesota ended up starting their season 1-0. As for the Bears right now, they look pretty good. Caleb Williams is starting to play a little bit better. He's starting to he's starting to really gain some momentum. Ben Johnson has these guys rolling. Started 0-2 in the season. Now they're 6-3, losing one game in the middle. Won 6 of the last 7, I believe. And their only loss being Baltimore, led by Tyler Huntley. Had a comeback win versus the Giants last week, which ended up getting Brian Daboll fired, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, Chicago's looking very good right now. As for Minnesota, if you look at their season similar to Jacksonville right now, this is another must win. Absolute must win. You're 4-5 right now. You drop to 4-6. The NFC is packed right now. You look at Chicago; they're the 6th seed in the NFC right now at 6-3. This is a game that Minnesota needs. I think they're going to get it. I'm taking the home team again. I think Justin Jefferson needs a big game. Justin Jefferson needs a big game. He really hasn't had that go get it elite performance that he's had in the past years this year yet. I think JJ McCarthy and him need to really get on the same page. Brian Flores needs to keep doing what he's doing with the defense. Minnesota needs to get this done. This is an absolute must win for them. In division, I think they're going to get it done at home. And I picked them last week against Baltimore and it backfired. So let's see. Next up, we have an NFC matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the New York Giants. The Packers, they're coming into this game 5-3-1, losing 2 straight games, and they really haven't looked at their best. That's the bottom line. They haven't looked at their best. Jordan Love's had a few bad games in a row, but Jeff Hafley has had the defense flying around. There has been some rumblings around the NFL this past week since the loss on Monday night to Philadelphia that Matt LaFleur could be up for a new job opening if this continues in Green Bay. I think Matt LaFleur is phenomenal. I would never fire Matt LaFleur. I think he's a really good offensive mind, but that's the rumblings right now. Green Bay's lost 2 in a row. This is a win they need. As for the Giants, they're sitting at 2-8 right now, I believe. They haven't had their bye week yet. This might be 2-8, 2-7, 2-8, I think. I think 2-8. But Brian Daboll was fired this past week, obviously. Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator, who has been up for head coaching openings before in the years past, is the new interim head coach. Joe Shane, the general manager, is staying for now at least. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But Jameis Winston will put up some points. That's the bottom line. He'll throw some turnovers. He'll make some mistakes, but he is entertaining. He's entertaining as anybody in the league. That's the bottom line. I would not be surprised if this game being in MetLife Stadium, Jameis Winston making his first start as a Giant, the Giants could pull off an upset with Jackson Dart on IR. No, Jackson Dart on IR. In concussion protocol, sorry. but I'm gonna take the Packers. I think this is one Matt LaFleur knows they need. I think this is one Jeff Hafley knows they need, and I think this is the one everybody in Green Bay knows they need right now. And the offense has to pick up some slack from the defense, and they got to get a win. I think this is one that Green Bay ends up getting, and they go to 6-3-1 on the season to keep their season rolling a little bit, so to speak. And then we have another second divisional matchup of the season here between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, if you watch this channel for a while, I'm a Bengals fan, and the last few weeks have been very rough. I made some videos about them, this, that, whatever. No one cared about that. We'll start with the Bengals, obviously. Joe Burrow is on the horizon, people. He's on the horizon. Right now, the Bengals sit at 3-6. The Baltimore Ravens are at 4-5, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are at 5-4. This thing is not over. Yes, the Bengals defense is historically bad. They're obviously the 32nd ranked unit in the league. Yes. They're the worst tackling team in the league. Yes. They blew multiple games versus the Jets and the Bears, where obviously last time we saw them, the Bears 47-42, Colston Loveland, game-winning touchdown, missed tackle by Jordan Battle, Geno Stone. Yes, that is all true statements, and I'm not even disagreeing with that. All I am saying is if everybody on the Bengals defense could play 1% better, this team could literally do things with Joe Burrow at the helm. Joe Flacco, got to give him credit. He's been playing elite since he's been in Cincinnati. 470 yards, 4 touchdowns last time we saw him. Elite. On a bad shoulder at 40 years old, putting his life on the line for the Bengals. A must-win game, obviously, for your season at the ballots right now. Bengals are 2-0 in division right now. If you go to 3-0 in division, you beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers would be 5-5, no matter what happens to the Baltimore Ravens this week. They play the Cleveland Browns. We'll talk about that more in a few minutes. They're probably gonna beat the Browns, but 5-5, 5-5, and you are 4-6. You play Baltimore twice still, Thanksgiving night and Week 15. Joe Burrow wants to come back for Thanksgiving night. This thing is not over. Obviously, it starts right here. The Bengals have to win this game, and it's tough to pick the Bengals right now. The Steelers last week, they didn't look good. Aaron Rodgers looked horrible. The offense looked bad. People are calling for Mike Tomlin's job again. It never fails. The Chargers defense shut him down last week. Who do you think I'm taking? You have to really, really, really give me a lot of reasons to pick against my own team. Right now, I'm not doing it. I'm taking my Bengals. I have to really, really, really be convinced that they're going to lose to pick against them. I've only picked against them once this season on my final pick. Maybe I picked against them multiple times on the actual episode, but on my final pick, I've picked against them once this season. It was week 5 against the Detroit Lions. I was totally confident they were losing that game. Right now, it's really tough for me to pick against my guys. I'm taking the Bengals. That's all I have to say. Who Dey. And then the last 1 p.m. game of the Sunday slate. It's an AFC South matchup, another divisional matchup, round number 2 rematch. It is the Houston Texans taking on the Tennessee Titans in Nashville. The Texans, they have the best defense in the entire National Football League right now, maybe besides the Denver Broncos. Take it or leave it. But they're 4-5 right now after starting 0-3. They've won 4 of the last 6 games, starting to play a little better. CJ Stroud is still hurt. He's not expected to play again this week. Expected to be Davis Mills. Nico Collins had one of his better games of the season last week. As for the Titans, they're coming off the bye week right now. They're sitting at 1-8. Their lone win being the miracle versus the Arizona Cardinals, where Amari DiMercado dropped the ball before the goal line. So if Amari DiMercado didn't drop that ball, the Tennessee Titans might be winless right now. I'm taking the Titans. This is a game where I just see Cam Ward have an absolute disaster class. He just has not looked great yet. Obviously, he's a rookie. Gotta give him some slack. Gotta give him time. I'm not saying that he's a bad player. I'm not saying he's gonna be bad or anything like that. But it's just not the Tennessee Titans year right now. Interim head coach Mike McCoy right now still. I'm taking Houston. They're gonna go to 5-5. They're still in the thick of the AFC playoff race. They want to be able to come back and actually compete in this thing. Their defense is elite. I'm taking them to win this game. And then you have another matchup number 2 between two division opponents. The last time these two played was week 3, I believe. It is the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Arizona Cardinals. The 49ers, they're sitting at 6-4 right now. They 6-3, so 6-4, I believe. But we'll see with Mac Jones or Brock Purdy this week. Kyle Shanahan's been saying every single week as we got closer and closer to Brock Purdy being ready. But Mac Jones stepped in as the 49ers backup. Can't say much bad about him. He's done a pretty good job as a backup for the 49ers. He's done a good job with Kyle Shanahan. Christian McCaffrey's also obviously doing great things this year. He's done great things in the receiving game, great things in the running game. George Kittle had his best game of the season last week. And even with all the injuries Kyle Shanahan and the Niners have suffered, and to be honest with you, they'd probably be a Super Bowl contender if they didn't lose Fred Warner, they lost Nick Bosa. They've lost guys over the course of the season. That's just the bottom line. If they didn't lose some of their core pieces, we could be talking about these guys as Super Bowl contender right now. I'm taking them to win this game. I like Kyle Shanahan better than Jonathan Gannon right now. The Cardinals have disappointed me this season. I've said it multiple times in these pick 'em episodes. Right now, I'm taking the Niners. I think Arizona. Jacoby Brissett disappointed me last week. I thought they were going to be a little bit closer with the Seahawks, but it wasn't enough. And yeah, the Seahawks got that game done. But I'm taking the Niners here to go to 7-3. Next up, we have potentially the game of the year so far. Two teams right now tied for the best records in the entire NFC. It is Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Los Angeles Rams, led by Matthew Stafford. Two quarterbacks playing great. Two number one receivers that are playing great in JSN and Puka Nacua. This should be a stellar game. Let's start with the Seahawks. They're 7-2 right now. Obviously, Sam Darnold and JSN look like a lethal combination right now. They're playing that good. The running game is very good with Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. Defense is playing out of their mind. I mean, the pressure is getting there. DeMarcus Lawrence had 2 touchdowns last week as a defender. And the Seahawks, they're 7-2 right now. They are looking very, very good. As for the Rams, Matthew Stafford, I mean, you can't say much more about Matthew Stafford the way he's playing right now. I believe he's 36, 37 years old. He's balling out. I think he has like 20 something touchdowns, leading the NFL touchdown passes right now. He's balling out with Puka Nacua and Davante Adams. He's an MVP candidate. He's a legitimate MVP candidate in the NFL right now. I'd put him number 2 on my list, right behind Jonathan Taylor. If I'm voting for MVP today, he is number 2. He's playing that good. This game being in SoFi, does it really matter? I mean, you see away fans travel to SoFi, no matter if it's the Chargers or the Rams, all the time. That's a huge disadvantage for these teams. But if I had to pick a Super Bowl winner today, it might be the Los Angeles Rams. Legitimately, I'm loving the way Stafford's playing. I'm loving the way Sean McVay's coaching. I'm loving everything the Rams are doing right now. Their defense is stellar with a lot of young guys. This will be a very good game. Both these teams look like perennial contenders in the NFC right now, whether you like it or not. I'm not going to say I trust Sam Darnold totally. Sam Darnold played the Rams in the playoffs last year, put up an absolute stinker. But right now, I like the Rams. I think they're going to win matchup number 1. These two teams play again in Week 16, so if they keep doing what they're doing, that could be another huge matchup. But right now, the Rams in the all-black rivalries uniforms, I'm taking them. Next up, it is another AFC North matchup, another divisional rematch, second game of the year. It is the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. I'm not going to yap much about this one. I'm taking Baltimore here. Lamar Jackson's back. He didn't practice yesterday, but today John Harbaugh said he's fully expected to practice. Baltimore, they started the season 1-5. That was obviously the big story. Had lost to Houston, had lost to Kansas City. Lamar Jackson went out for a few weeks, came back. Since then, they beat Chicago, they beat Miami, and they beat Minnesota last week. I wouldn't say they're really all convincing wins. I'd say last week was more the story of Minnesota's offense being horrible than the Baltimore Ravens defense being great. I'm not going to say the Ravens have played good. They've put up some ugly wins. But the bottom line is the Ravens are winning those games. Lamar Jackson not turning the ball over. He's not playing bad. He's doing just enough. Derrick Henry's got his game going a little bit with Lamar Jackson back there to kind of boost the run game. And I think the Ravens win this game pretty handily. I think they go to 5-5. I'm not going to say they absolutely kill them because it's a divisional game. Cleveland always plays Baltimore tough. I don't think Baltimore swept Cleveland since like 2020 or something like that. But it's been a few years since Baltimore swept Cleveland. That's the bottom line. But I'm gonna take Baltimore right now. I think they're gonna go 5-5, and it tightens up the AFC North just that much. So it's gonna be a close divisional race to the very end. We'll see what ends up happening. Next up, we have an AFC West matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos. The Chiefs, they're coming off well rested off the bye week. The last time we saw them, they lost to the Buffalo Bills. That was obviously the AFC Championship rematch, the hyped up game, this, that. Everybody was excited for that one. But they're sitting at 5-4 right now. Outside looking in, the AFC playoff race, which is pretty insane to say based on what the Kansas City Chiefs have done the past few seasons, the Super Bowls they've won, the MVPs Mahomes has won, and all that. They're going on the road to Mile High Stadium right now, where the Denver Broncos, they're tied for the #1 seed in the American Football Conference right now. They're 8-2. Defense is flying around, even with no Pat Surtain in the lineup. He's not expected to play in this game again. But the bottom line is if Denver wants to be a perennial contender in the AFC, which I think they can because of how good the defense is, the weapons they have on offense, Bo Nix has to play better. That's the bottom line. He was horrible against the Raiders last Thursday. Denver's coming off a mini bye in this one. This is one that Kansas City really needs. If Kansas City loses this game, we can start having talks like, oh, the AFC's pretty packed. Houston will have a tie record with them. But I'm taking the Chiefs in this game. This is a game that Mahomes lives up to. He lives for these games. He lives for these big games, and he always steps to the plate and plays well. And I think this is one on the road, a team that, despite the records, the Kansas City Chiefs are favored in this game, which feels crazy to say. Favored on the road versus a team 3 wins better than them. Can't say that much. The sports books are really on Kansas City this weekend, but I'm taking the Chiefs in this matchup. I expect them to roll and get a much needed win and put themselves right back in the AFC playoff picture, which I don't think anybody's really doubting them right now. But if they lose this game, they might have some doubters. You never know. Next up, we have Sunday Night Football, which is a very, very good NFC matchup. We have some good matchups this week. Let me tell you that. We have this Seattle, Los Angeles. We have Kansas City, Denver. Chicago, Minnesota is good. Tampa Bay, Buffalo is good. There's some good games this week. There's some good games this weekend, but it is the Detroit Lions taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in a jam-packed NFC perennial playoff team matchup. The Lions, we'll start with them. They are 6-3 right now. Obviously, the division is as tight as ever. Chicago is also 6-3. Minnesota's 4-5. Green Bay's 5-3-1 with the jam-packed NFC North. And Dan Campbell lives for that. They're going into Lincoln Financial Field to take on the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles, obviously, who haven't really looked like convincing. AJ Brown's obviously stirring up drama on social media. That's a yearly occurrence. But I will say he's totally right about it. I mean, he's him not getting targeted, him being open, not getting targeted, Jalen Hurts, the beef and all that, blah blah blah. That's part of the reason the offense hasn't really looked stellar. They're coming off a 10-7 win versus the Green Bay Packers this past Monday night on the 6-day week, so a little bit of a shorter week than Detroit. This just feels like a game to me. Detroit's going to win. I think that if they do, if Detroit does win this game, it might. You're gonna start hearing some talks about AJ Brown yet again. AJ Brown doesn't want out this that, but Philadelphia will figure it out. Philadelphia will be a Super Bowl contender yet again. Their defense is playing well right now. Jalen Carter's playing well. Zach Bond's backing up from last year. Quinyon Mitchell looks like one of the best corners in the league. He's might be one of the most underrated players in the entire league. The first round pick last year at Toledo, but I think Detroit's gonna win this game. They're gonna take lead in the NFC North coming out of this Sunday, and they're gonna get it done in this game, I think. So might stir up some drama in Philly, but I think they'll be fine. Nick Sirianni will be fine, obviously, but I think Detroit's gonna get this one done. And on Monday Night Football, it's pretty mid-game, to be honest. The main storyline here that I'm looking at is Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson making their debut for the Dallas Cowboys. That's really all I care about right now. But it's a battle of teams in opposite conferences. It's the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. The Cowboys, they're coming off the bye week. Last time we saw them, they were actually on Monday Night Football versus the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals beat them. Jacoby Brissett played very well. Marvin Harrison Jr. had his best game of the season. Yeah, that's really it. Dak Prescott didn't play very well in that game. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say. As for the Raiders, they're coming off a mini bye, losing 10-7 to the Denver Broncos last Thursday. Geno Smith's not playing very well. Not much to say there either, though Brock Bowers and Ashton Jeanty can really do some damage. One thing I do want to say, RIP Marshawn Kneeland. I don't know if I talked about that on the channel yet. Last Thursday, a week ago from today, Marshawn Kneeland was in a I don't know if it was a police chase. I don't know exactly what it was, but he was found dead in a porta potty, and kind of like he basically suicided. Which RIP Marshawn Kneeland. Call for help if you need it. That's what I gotta say. But I'm gonna take the Dallas Cowboys in this game, football wise. I think they're gonna get it done. I don't think the Dallas Cowboys defense, obviously, all that, but I think they're gonna get this one done and beat the Raiders on Monday Night Football. Okay, so that does it. My lock of the week is going to be New England over New York Jets tonight, actually. That game is tonight, and my upset will be Jacksonville over Los Angeles because they are underdogs. So that is an upset. But yeah, that is this week's picks. We'll talk about power rankings in a second here, but all right. Indy, New Orleans on bye week, obviously. To recap, New England, Miami, Atlanta, Buffalo, Jacksonville, Minnesota, Green Bay, Cincinnati, Houston, San Francisco, Los Angeles Rams, Baltimore, Kansas City, Detroit, and Dallas in your 15 games this week. So, yeah, those are this weekly picks. Hopefully, we can do a little bit better than we did last week, obviously. And now, let's talk about power rankings real quick, and then we'll get up out of here. And here are your week number 11 already. You know, it's crazy to say. Power rankings across the NFL. Your top two teams happen to be playing this week. The Rams and the Seahawks play in SoFi Stadium. Your top two teams in the power rankings, two looking like perennial contenders right now in their own right. Followed by Kansas City off by New England goes up one, Indianapolis up two, Detroit up two, Lions and Eagles, also two teams that play this week. Broncos and Chiefs, also two teams that play this week. We have some top 10 power ranking games, three top 10 power ranking games this week, so that should be pretty fun to watch. Chargers up 5 spots. Tampa Bay at number 10. Buffalo at number 11, down 9 spots. I think they're my biggest riser or follower this week, coming off a loss to Miami. Followed by Baltimore, Green Bay, Niners down one. Steelers, Bears, and Texans, two teams that go up 3 spots, coming off wins. Followed by Jacksonville down 2 spots with their blown lead to Houston. Houston 1 spot above them, who just beat them. Followed by Minnesota, Carolina, Atlanta, Arizona, and Dallas off the bye week. Miami go up 6 spots with a win over the Buffalo Bills. Bengals on the bye of 1 spot. Yeah. I'm biased. Whatever. That's kind of how I had to put them. I want to keep them above the Jets. Okay, I know the Jets beat them, but this, whatever. Followed by the Jets, Saints, Commanders down 4 spots. They're in the bottom five. I can't believe I'm saying that at this point in the year. If you told me on September 7th that I'd be having them in the bottom five at this point, I'd call you crazy. But here we are. Followed by the Giants, Browns, Raiders, and then the Tennessee Titans. Clearly the number 32 team, not the Ravens, and number 32 right now. But yeah, that is your weekly game picks and power ranks. Can't believe I got this video. It's Thursday. It's already past the time I usually get the video. This will probably be out around 2 o'clock. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys did enjoy today's video, please like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications for more content exactly like this. We have weekly stuff every single week. And enjoy week 11. Have fun watching these big games. And as always, go Bengals.